Good morning, boys and girls of the internet. Today is Sunday, April 8th, 2018, and this is vlog coming 97, vlog number 97, right? And my buddy went out today to go see Ready Player One, and I enticed him to talk about it after the movie, so let's check it out. Alright, so we just went to go see Ready Player One. The movie's been out for like 2 weeks now, so oh well. I liked it. It was fun.
I enjoyed it. It was entertaining.
Yeah.
I had a lot of... It was one of those movies where if you took it too seriously, like, you're probably not going to enjoy it, but...
Of course not.
If you go into it just kind of like, meh, it's just for shits and giggles, then yeah, it's a fun watch.
Yeah. All throughout the movie, I was watching it, I was thinking about, like, if I saw this movie with, like, my dad, he would be completely lost.
Yeah, you definitely, if you don't have any, whatchamacallums, what are those things called? Where you, references?
Yeah. Like pop culture references.
Pop culture. I don't know why I couldn't think of that, but anyway, yeah. If you're not keen on pop culture references, you're lost as shit in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Luckily, we were born in the 80s, or earlier than the 80s, and we were around for half the pop culture references in that movie.
Yeah.
What were those things called? Mad balls or whatever? The little ugly...
Yeah, the little mad balls.
The little ugly balls. Yeah. That was fucking way left field. Like, right. Who's gonna get that except really old people, like almost in their 40s?
I guarantee you, there's probably like a shit ton of things in there that, you know, unless you're like super paying attention, that we probably even missed. You know, like
well, there was a lot going on in that movie. It's if you're a motion sickness kind of person, don't go see that movie.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
Because that movie is moving 100 miles per hour, like at all times, and it's like on purpose.
Yeah. So, it's constantly like nothing's ever like, you know, static, regular shots. Like everything was like always moving around.
The main character even mentions that like halfway through the movie, he's like, "Holy shit, the real world is so much slower."
Yeah.
And I mean, whatever, but I don't know. All in all, I enjoyed it, but like again, I have this really critical mind where I like kind of see movies from like a different perspective as just, you know, engrossing myself in what the story is trying to tell me.
Yeah.
I'm always super critical, and there was a lot of flaws with that movie.
Yeah.
On just a logical level. But I mean, again, if you go into that movie trying to be logical, it's not going to be fun.
No, of course not.
Like, my biggest complaint with you was the scene where they're in the dance club.
Yeah.
And they're, you know, trying to solve something, and they're dancing, and the bad guys in the movie whoop out some, you know, come crashing through the windows SWAT style with, you know, automatic rifles and try to shoot the main characters in a club. And that didn't make any sense to me, because the game had a structure where there was, you know, a casino world, and there was a shooter world, and there was a racing world, and there was a Minecraft world, and there was like a different land or like a different world for each particular type of activity you wanted to do.
Yeah. And
while they told us that the persistent world, you had collected money, you amass things, and, you know, if you die, you go back to zero, but why was there any reason for people to pull out an automatic rifle in a damn dance club or a casino? Or what's stopping people from going to the Minecraft world and pulling out a rocket launcher? Yeah. Like, that's dumb. So the bad guys being able to do that at that point in the movie made no sense to me, because if you can do that in any part of the game where you can just pull out
it totally breaks the game.
Yeah, and like I was telling you, the one truth to all video games is that if there is a way to troll, trolls will troll. That is the one and only truth. It's the same thing as, like, when you're born, you're only guaranteed two things. Like, you know, you're going to die and pay taxes.
Yeah.
In the world of video games, the only truth is if there's a way to troll, trolls will do it. And if you go to Minecraft and you build a house out of dirt and brick, some fucker is going to come with a rocket launcher and shoot the shit out of it. If you can just go to any of the game worlds and just do whatever you want, because there's no way to stop that. But the game was really loose and acted like everybody would behave and shit, like in the worlds, and that doesn't even make sense.
Now,
like,
the only thing I'm thinking about in that scene, you know, maybe, no, even that, like maybe just like the, you know, the IOI, whatever the hell you call them, maybe they're the ones that like can go in there and break that part and like.
No, because they were completely subjected to all the rules too. the dying, the everything. They were.
Well, yeah, but
the whole
like-
movie was them. The whole movie was the bad guys contending with the damn rules of the game, and that's what pissed them off.
Yeah. Well,
So-
what I'm wondering is, like, I was trying to think, like, you know, when, like, they were trying to defend themselves from, like, you know, all these people coming into the dance club and shooting at them, did they, like, go into their own inventory and get out weapons, other than the time that the guy got it as a Zemeckis cube?
So yeah, so that was that was the point.
I
of it.
think, well, I'm trying to remember, like, I think that when the girl, like, when she picked up a gun, it was, like, another dude's gun. So I don't think she got the gun from her own inventory.
No, she picked up one of the guns that were laying around. True.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that maybe while they're in there, like, unless like there's a rule to be broken by those dudes, I don't think you can like just whip out your gun. I don't know, but I mean,
Well, no, it doesn't make any sense. That's my problem with it. Is they should not have been able to pull out guns and bust through the window and shoot at people trying to dance. Obviously, it was a dance game. That was the point of where they were.
Yeah.
And it was a club scene, and they had that little hole that you're supposed to jump into because that was like the cool party thing to do, was to end your life right there, because that's all the cool kids were doing, right?
Yeah.
Just, oh, I'm going to go back to zero because it's cool, right? Like, okay, well, I guess if the only thing you do in the video game is dance every day, it's no big deal to throw yourself into a you die hole.
right.
Because you don't care about your money, your weapons, or whatever.
Well, I mean, you chalk that up to movie being movie.
Yeah, and I
having
get
to,
it.
like-
That was my prime example of
They had
like,
to kind of like sidestep, you know, video game rules in order to, you know, set the movie.
right. And there was a couple other examples of it, like not to spoiler or anything, but that part at the end which was in the preview, I think, where they're like all running in like a giant army and they're all
Yeah.
just avatars or whatever, but one of the characters gets to be the Iron Giant. Why?
Because he built it himself. He's a mod maker.
Well, I understand that, but like that's like saying that there's no limits. Like, why would anybody just run out there with themselves as a battle toad
Well,
with a damn nunchuck when they could just be all modding and coming out there with even crazier shit? What's stopping people with rolling in with a Death Star?
Well, they did like kind of insinuate that character was like a really good mod maker. So they said, I think they said like, oh, he's like the best mod maker, you know, that they know of. So apparently, it's not easy to make mods for the game.
I
So
suppose.
I mean, I'm sure there's people that do it, but you know, I'm guessing it's not easy. I mean, who knows? But there might have been people on that field that, you know, had mods. Like maybe someone who modded into a Chun-Li. I don't know.
Well, that's my other thing too. Like, okay, so you're given an opportunity to be in a world where you can. It's a persistent, ongoing game where you're you, and I have no doubt in my mind that there would be people that would make Darth Vader and Batman and Chun-Li. But the movie was like everybody would be a reference character, and I'm
Yeah.
like, no. The vast majority of people would just be random created characters, like the main character.
Well,
and his
there was a
friend.
shitload of like, you know, created characters.
I suppose the entire main cast, those 5 kids or whatever, were.
Yeah.
But then it kind of like stopped right there. Like everybody else was like a reference.
Well, I mean, if like, you know, we got like billions of people around the world playing the game, you know, of course you're going to see people. Oh, I want to be Tracer today.
No, that's what I said. I agree with you that there would be people that would want to be Batman.
Yeah.
But after the 1000th Batman, that kind of novelty wears off.
Yeah.
And the vast majority of gamers, like,
They want to make their own.
yeah, even though they have the ability to, be Batman or RoboCop, they're not going to.
Yeah.
I'm not going into a game wanting to be Beetlejuice. I mean, Beetlejuice is a cool character. Most gamers are interested in running into someone like Beetlejuice, not actually being Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
It seems dumb.
I'm sure like for most of those people, like they're just, you know, flexible costumes on any given day they want to go in there. My whole thing, and I kind of like thought about this, you know, way before I went into the movie, was that this movie is very nostalgic and it plays off the nostalgia, and of course most of the nostalgia is from the 80s and 90s, which I knew going into it that's what it was going to be from. However, there was also things nostalgic that came out in the thousands and the 2010s, like Tracer. She's a new character. However, is that the stopping point of the nostalgia?
He totally said that at the beginning of the movie. At the beginning of the movie, there was like two things that kind of like equaled the Great Depression.
Yeah.
It was called the Bandwidth War or some bullshit. He mentioned at the beginning of the movie that two events happened that made it so that like all online activity just came to a fucking stop.
So basically, like, everything after like 2018 and like our known world.
I think he said it was something like 2020 or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what days they were, but there was two major events that happened in the real world that made it so that pop culture and internet activity just completely stopped.
Yeah.
So when they started back up and
everybody was nostalgic from everything from like 2020 and before.
Right, and everything for a couple decades there was complete shit.
Yeah.
So they didn't have anything.
Right.
And that kid he said he was born in 2025 or something like that.
Yeah.
Or 2027, I don't remember which one, but that was my other thing too, like.
Yeah, because I was questioning that before I went to the movie. I was like, so are they going to have like characters that we don't even know right now because this is obviously in the future, and there might be a character that everybody really loves that comes out in like 2022.
Right. I know what you're getting at, but the movie covered that basis.
Yeah.
It totally stated.
That's what I was wondering if they were going to cover that.
They did.
Yeah.
He said it like in the first like 2 minutes of the movie.
I know. Yeah.
So, but like anyway, the problem I had with it was, okay, I don't know how much online gaming you do, but I play a lot of online games. The one thing I know about kids, and I've played with some teenagers, I've played with a great deal of teenagers, and they don't know pop culture references the same way that we do. We think of, okay, well, how hard is it to have seen Ghostbusters and RoboCop and Aliens, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is when we lived it, we had 10 whole years to experience it.
Yeah, and also, when we lived it, we also, like, lived it, and we didn't have distractions of the internet.
True, and then when something was really cool that came out, all of our friends were enjoying it too, and we had a chance to interact with each other as friends and schoolmates and whatnot, and, hey, this really cool movie came out, like, I don't know, the Mortal Kombat movie or something, like, which in retrospect was not a good movie, but when we were kids, it was cool because it was a video game movie that was actually made kind of from the source material and didn't suck balls.
Yeah.
So we were just happy that there was a video game movie that didn't suck balls.
Yeah.
So since it didn't suck balls and it was a video game movie,
you mean the Super Mario Brother movie wasn't a good movie?
That movie sucked balls. And there's no debate there. I'm sure there's some stupid fuck out there that disagrees, but he's trolling. And but anyway, my point is kids today, like young kids, like anywhere between age 8 and 14, they don't know any pop culture references from the 80s or the 90s, even early 2000s.
And the only thing they might know of is like ironic memes of the pop culture references.
And then even the older ones, your I guess technically millennials.
Yeah. Ones in their 20s right now.
Any pop culture references they know from the 90s or 80s or 90s are from just people telling them or almost forcing them, like.
So, like, about, like, you're talking about they don't know much about pop culture.
Yeah, so some kid born in 2025 is not going to know about the Easter egg and adventure.
Well, the thing is, though, that was the whole point. Is that, they came out with, hey, there is something to a point to this game if you find, like, the keys and stuff, but you have to know about these things. So they went and they researched that. They looked at this guy's life and they could find out about
the bad guys did
all the pop culture stuff that. Well, I mean, anybody can look at that.
No, the main characters in the movie totally, like, at the very beginning, they had their little back and forth banter about how much they knew about the Halliday guy.
Yeah, because they had to find that on their own.
Right, but that's not the same. Like, okay, let's just say there was some Antichrist motherfucker that everyone loves and creates, like, all the coolest shit in the world, and everybody worships the guy.
Right.
And he's like, guys, Atari 26 was sweet. Okay, cool. Everybody goes, yeah, Atari 26 600 was sweet because cool guy said so.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they're all going to go play every Atari 2600 game in existence. That's dumb.
Well,
It's not...
but if you want to go enjoy, or you want to go play with that Atari 2600 because there's a point to it, because like, hey, there might be a clue to win this goddamn game.
But
I'm gonna do it.
they didn't even know that. It was the bad guys that actually figured it out.
Well, they kind of figured out, hey, you need to, have these clues, and obviously the kid knew that, hey, this company is doing this, so why aren't we doing this too? And I'm pretty sure that, other than like these kids and probably a few other people around the world are doing this exact same thing. I'm pretty sure for 98% of the people playing, in Oasis, they're not searching for the fucking keys.
No, they already said that nobody was anymore.
Yeah.
Because everybody kind of gave up.
Yeah. So, but there's a few people left who they've done the work, they've done the research, they've looked at all the pop culture references that the guy was into. So it's not like everybody knew about the pop culture references. It's just they wanted to have these kids. They're the only ones that really, had the drive to look at all this stuff.
Maybe.
So I mean, that was it wasn't too far fetched.
It wasn't. I don't think it's believable.
Now, granted, I guarantee
That vast amount of knowledge. Like you and I, like I said, you and I know a lot about video games because we lived through basically the history of video games. You and I are the same age as home consoles.
But I guarantee you, they're not going to, like, in the real world, find an Atari 2600 and really play it.
No,
they
because
they did it all through the fucking
no, because
game.
every time they had to go play like the old Atari, they had to do it inside the Oasis.
Yeah.
They went in there, and there was a digital
version of it.
a version of an Atari 2600, and they were like virtual reality holding a little joystick.
Yeah. So if you can go and like access the vast library of all.
But who's doing that? Who's
They are, because they want to win.
No. But nobody did that. Even the main character didn't just plug into the Oasis one afternoon and go, oh, it's Atari 2600 day, and go to the virtual Atari 2600 and play it.
You don't know that. Obviously, he must have, because he knew about the game.
It's not plausible though.
Why not?
Because he's got the ability to go to a dance club and have people shoot at him, and he's got like the entire the end of possibilities. You're telling me that a kid...
I'm sure when he first went into the game, yeah, he explored fucking everything that the game had to offer, and enjoyed it. But then like, hey,
I don't know.
There's this Easter egg thing. If you get the 3 keys, but this is how you do it. They go and research it, and they figure out, hey, we have to kind of know about the stuff that he was into. So let's go find this stuff out.
I mean, that was the really loose link that the movie gave us to why they would know.
Oh yeah,
I'm agreeing with you that, but it's not even remotely plausible that some kid born in 2025 is going to sit around and play all of the Atari 26. I was alive when Atari 2600 came out. I was a kid. I owned one, and I didn't even play them all.
Yeah, well.
I played like half of them, and it's not plausible. It's just not. It's not plausible. I mean, I guess for the sake of the movie and for the story.
If you had a drive to a point to play the games,
bro,
other than just playing the games.
Have you played an Atari 2600? The drive is killed almost instantly the minute you pick up that goddamn controller, because all of those games are endurance games.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. But if you got like, $500 billion, yeah, I'll play this shit. I'll play it till my fucking eyeballs bleed.
But then he would be doing nothing but playing fucking Adventure every day and like Pitfall and.
Why was nobody solid snake in that game? In that movie?
Was there a?
Was
there a solid
again
snake?
that like we said after we finished watching that movie.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be
when people get this movie on home like release, it's gonna be the most paused movie ever.
I don't know. You think it can beat Basic Instinct?
Yes. Basic Instinct, you only pause it for one point.
Yeah, but millions of people paused at that one point.
Yeah, but here we're gonna have millions of people pausing at many points.
Maybe.
So there you go.
Maybe. But how do you track that anyway?
You don't track it. You just assume it.
Yeah, I suppose.
Because you assume that of whatever you're going to do, there's probably many other people that are going to do the same thing.
Yeah, but there's like those top 10 most paused movies ever.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I guess you could take like a poll.
I mean, there's already YouTube videos out there of like the top 10 like Easter eggs you see in Ready Player One.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, did you spot at the beginning the fucking Hello Kitty, like the Sanrio characters?
I saw lots of shit. There was a lot of shit. There was a lot of shit in that movie. And then the crazy thing is like it was all purposely like 1 seconders.
Yeah.
Where the camera was spinning, and like I said, if you got motion sickness, do not see that movie.
Yeah.
Because
Like
that camera is spinning at all fucking times.
The Sanrio characters were like out of focus, like in the distance, and like I was like, I see fucking Hello Kitty in there.
Oh man.
Fucking that Shining scene though, holy shit, it made me laugh.
That's probably the coolest scene in the whole movie when they go into The Shining.
Yeah. I need to watch that movie again.
And then all the people are dying, trying to get through it.
And they're all screaming.
So that's another thing that didn't really make a whole hell of a lot of sense in that movie. Like, to get into The Shining, he had to go to the archives, and they had to pull up the list of the movies that were playing at that time.
Well, I think as long as you know what the hell movie you're gonna go watch, you don't have to actually go to the archives. Because the archive thing was just like, you know, the guy's memory. But if you knew that, hey,
Well,
there's something in this movie to go to, let's go to the movie house.
yeah, but what is the limits on that? Like, is every movie ever have the ability to go into?
Sure. Why not?
Well, then, no one would ever play with anybody anywhere. Like, if you could just go into any movie you want to at any time, or any game you want at any time, the internet of player base would be so divided it wouldn't even be funny.
Well, I'm actually thinking, you know, now that I think about it, I guarantee you, you know, most movies are just things you watch, but because, you know, this movie was one of the movies that he enjoyed, he made a game of the movie.
And nobody... And he didn't share that with anybody? That's kind of shitty. Like, I made a Shining game. It looks exactly like the fucking movie, photorealistic. And if you can survive the fucking Shining, you fucking win. You know how many people would be like, you could play through the Shining? Let's do this, because, you know, because they know they're going to lose. Horror games are great. Lots of people like horror games. I like horror games.
So, I like that movie. It was good.
I liked it. It was enjoyable, but like,
I'm sure, you know, when you watch it more and more, like, you'll start seeing more and more things.
I suppose, yeah. I just still don't buy the kids knowing all the 80s and 90s references.
I don't, like I said, I don't see why not. They had the drive to research it, and they had endless sources of information at their fingertips.
I suppose.
So,
But kids today have endless sources of information, and they don't.
they don't have the drive.
Right.
They don't have the drive to research it.
Yeah.
So that's what it boils down to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I enjoyed the movie just a little bit more than my friend did. You can get a little nitpicky with certain things, and I know the movie is pretty much about a video game, and the gamer side of him kind of picks apart certain things that breaks down, and I can kind of see his point. But I take the movie at face value, you know, and yeah, there could be a couple of things in the movie that, on a gaming scale, you know, in terms of a video game, it kind of breaks things a bit. But it doesn't break the movie for me, I don't think. I guess it does when you really think about it, you know, the actual like game world of it. But for me, it didn't break the movie. It was more, how should I put it? I don't know, you kind of assume that the game world does have rules. And yeah, I'm sure rules are meant to be broken, you know. Like the Matrix, some rules are meant to be, some rules could be bent, some rules could be broken. So I take it as there are rules that can be broken. And yeah, like my friend said, if there are rules that can be broken like that, the world would then be full of a bunch of trolls and people just like exploiting the hell out of the game. Yeah, that's kind of true. But again, it is a movie, so you're not supposed to think about it a little bit, that deeply. I don't think it's like trying to think deeply about, Pacific Rim. It's not that deep of a movie. I don't know, but I give the movie a very positive rating. I would go see it again. I would even go see it again in a theater. If I went with someone that didn't see it, because I think this is definitely a movie that the more you watch it, the more you see. You see like little snippets of things, and of course, I think there's a lot of things they threw in the movie that was nostalgic, simply for nostalgic's sake. But I think it all fit. It's all pretty much a movie centered around gaming, like video gaming, and the culture that kind of surrounds that. So anything in this movie that anything in this world that kind of centered around from the start of video games till, I'm guessing, till now, around the maybe like the end of their normal video game era, in that world, it's fair game. So that's also like pop culture, like movies and music and stuff like that. Visually, the movie is very, of course, it's very beautiful. Like when they go to the CG world, it's very bright and colorful, and and still yet, as a modern video game with modern visuals in the world, like things still kind of look realistic. Like we mentioned, they went into the world of The Shining, and that just looked straight up like the movie. Like it didn't look like a video game at all. It just looked like you're in the movie The Shining. So that was pretty cool. Overall, yeah, I would definitely go watch it again. You should all go watch it if you haven't seen it yet. I know this review is very, kind of late in terms of when the movie came out. So everybody who probably is excited to go see it has probably already seen it already. I know we kind of rambled on a bit, but that's okay. That's what we do when we talk about movies. We start going off in tangents and start talking about other things. I edited out some of the bits that we talked about already. Try to keep the video as short as I can, but I know the video already is going to be kind of long. Anyways, seeing how it's going to be long, I'm going to end this video now. So I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good day, and I love you.